Alrighty, our next question is from Justin, waking up from hunger while in ketosis. Dear Rob, I'm a huge fan of the pod and your work. For the past 2 months, I've been following a keto eating plan. I weigh all food and track macros, and I'm usually hitting 40 grams of net carbs, 90 to 100 grams of protein, and somewhere between 235 to 270 grams of fat, for a total of roughly 3,000 to 3,500 calories per day. I'm a 30-year-old male, 5'9". I usually eat 3 to 4 meals per day with no snacks. I currently weigh 156 and I'm about 16% body fat. I did a BodPod when I was a few pounds lighter and was at 14.5%. In terms of exercise, I usually go to the gym 3 times a week and do some combination of squats, deadlift, press, and bench press. As an example of where I'm currently at with strength, I do 4 sets of 5 reps, 2-minute rest periods with 205 pounds on squats. So my question is this: when I try to cut calories down by about 300 to 500 calories, because I'd like to get to 12% body fat, I wake up in the middle of the night hungry. I feel like I keep hearing on various podcasts and books that I read that in a state of keto, hunger should be significantly blunted, and this shouldn't really be an issue. But I feel like if I don't go to sleep pretty full, I wake up in the middle of the night. I know sleep is critically important, so this seems like a problem. If I eat enough to sleep through the night, I can maintain the same weight but really struggle to lose weight. I've done self-experiments to make sure I'm not waking up due to stress, noise, etc., and have isolated that my sleep is almost completely correlated with my hunger levels. I wanted to ask for your guidance because I imagine other people might struggle with a similar issue. I know many people who do well with hunger during the day but not so well at night. Some things I've wondered about is if I'm overtraining or if there's some sort of other physiological issue I need to attend to. Maybe I'm not understanding keto properly, but I feel like with my macro breakdown, I should be able to comfortably go 12 to 16 hours without eating. Or is the ability to go prolonged periods without food less about eating and more about individual differences? Thank you for all the amazing work that you do, Justin.
Man, a lot of good stuff in there. One thing that leaps out to me is the 90 to 100 grams of protein, I think, is way too low for 100.
I am more like 120 grams of protein, and I'm smaller.
Yes, yeah. So that definitely leaps out at me, and some very smart people, far smarter than myself, ranging from Paul Giamone to Chris Masterjohn, have noted, and they really get into the biochemistry at a pretty high level, so you could do some following up on this, but they make the case that if you're reasonably active and keto, and they'll make the case that you shouldn't be keto if you're reasonably active. So that's a whole other aside, but they make the case that if you're going to be active and you're going to be keto, you need more protein. And that's just alpha, omega, done. We've seen, with keto gains, we've seen with the carnivore diet, which we were just kind of talking about in the previous question a little bit, when people eat at higher protein levels, they do then tend to get better satiety. And there also tends to be more of a ability to recover from training and stuff like that. Part of what's going on, and one of the benefits that's interesting is glycogen can be restored. Liver and muscle glycogen can and it will be restored from protein breakdown. In many corners of the keto sphere, people are terrified by that. And if you have epilepsy, if you're using keto as a cancer adjuvant or something like that, then there's reasons for it. For body composition and weight loss, it's a disastrous deal to drop protein because people end up hungry. And then they need to eat a lot of either fat or carbs. and it's very easy to overeat.
I feel like 3,000 to 3,500 calories is also high for a
Correct.
5'9",
Yep.
156-pound guy. So if he upped his protein significantly, his fat would probably come down a little bit.
Yeah, I would get the protein up to at least 150 grams per day, and
maybe plug your numbers into the Ketogains macronutrient calculator.
Yep. and select for the recommended level, and maybe so. If you use the Ketogains macronutrient calculator, it will default to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of lean body mass. Or you can use Ketogains recommended, which is 1.0 grams per pound of lean body mass, or you could adjust it for 1.2 grams of protein per pound of lean body mass. I would tweak it to the 1.2 grams. So I would up your protein and adjust all the other macros appropriately based off the what that spits out. I would also make really certain that you're getting adequate electrolytes. Shameless plug for Element, but this is another one of those things that if the electrolyte balance is off and sodium is too low,
You can be hungry.
you can get an adrenocortical response. So those are the two big things that I would really look at, is upping protein and really weighing and measuring your electrolytes, tracking it in MyFitnessPal or something like that to make certain that you're at least getting 5 grams of sodium per day. And then if you're eating largely whole unprocessed foods, the magnesium and potassium should take care of itself. But I'll be kind of shocked if you don't see improvements off that. But if you don't, it could also be a case where keto is just not a good fit. Like maybe a little bit of carbs in the mix would be a better option.
Okay. So Justin, please let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Try that,
Follow
up
up
the
on that.
protein, and then let us know how you do.